So this vlog, I'm combining week 2 and 3 because both of them were really busy, so I didn't really have enough time to make a designated one for each week. But I did do quite a bit of things these last 2 weeks, so I hope you enjoy. We started off going to the Australian Open, a gang of Canadians. The way they have it set up is they do have a bunch of different entrances along the river. So we took the tram down to the closest one to us, went inside the grounds, and then we started in like the kiddie zone, but we walked over to where the courts were and it was all laid out really well. So this is the main arena, the Rod Laver Arena, where the big names play. We only got the ground pass tickets because we were on student budgets and they were the cheapest. So we didn't have access to go inside this arena. We were able to go in the other two though. So this is a little hard to see, but this is kind of in the distance, the John Cain Arena. And then the one on the left here is the Kia Arena, which is where we went into. So the first game we went to go see was a women's doubles game between France and Australia, which is the home country. So this was a very packed game, and they were playing China and Taiwan. And then we also stayed and watched a men's game as well, which was Rublev, who was number 5 ranked, versus Rusevori, and I believe he was from Finland. One thing that I found really cool about the tickets for the Aussie Open when you get the ground pass is a lot of the arenas don't have designated seating, so often people will pop in for the one game they want to watch and then they'll leave. So between the doubles game and the singles game, we were actually able to go down to the lower bowl, and my parents were able to find us on the TV. Later in the week, we went to the Melbourne Zoo. So this was my first time seeing a platypus. It actually reminded me a lot of an otter. I found they look very similar. And then we went through the walkway to the underwater facility where you could see below the water level for the seals. And then they also had a bunch of other like seahorses and different fish in this little area. And finally, we got to see our penguins. These were actually super cute. They reminded me a lot of what a duck actually looks like, the way that they sit when they take their heads out of the water. So hopefully over the next few years, we'll be able to see them in the wild. But for now, this will have to do, I guess. And then this video is a little hard to see. I still haven't figured out if or how to zoom in on my GoPro. But on the right over here, there's a gorilla that you can see walk across the little opening. And this was another first for me. I've never seen a hippopotamus. So again, they had the area where you could view it from underwater, and it came right up to the glass, which was super cool to see. And then there was quite a lot of monkeys actually, but one thing I didn't realize about monkeys was that they could actually like grasp onto things with their tail. So the one here on the left kept going over to all the other monkeys trying to get them to play and kept wrestling with them. And then these are just some otters, which I know obviously we have in Canada, but I thought they were super cute. They kept following one another around the pen. And these guys were the star of the show. What most of us Canadians went to the zoo in hopes of seeing, obviously other than the kangaroos and koalas. The kangaroo enclosure was closed for maintenance, and the koalas were hiding the entire time we were there. So these guys get the crown. And finally, it was time for my first day. And then the morning just composed of teachers kind of just talking about the program. We got to actually get a tour of the building, so we saw the preclinical simulation lab we'll be working out of, as well as the haptics lab. So the computers each have like a simulator on it that you can look into and practice your manual dexterity skills before actually going into the lab. These machines in this lab cost $80,000 each, so our supervisor told us to not mess around with them. And then we decided one night to go bowling at a little bowling alley close to where we all live. And then we had the inaugural scrub crawl, so all the first years get dressed up in scrubs and we go around to the local bars. And then to cap off the week, we enjoyed the day at St.Kilda Beach, just enjoying the sunshine and some gelato, and we also went with some of the Aussies, so it was nice to meet some of the other half of our class. And then we finally had our first day of full classes, so I just took some photos in front of the hospital. And then in our second day, we got to go straight into lab, looking at models, and we practiced taking out some of the teeth, feeling them around with your hands to try and determine which teeth they were. And that's all for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed.
I'm from Louisiana.